or, you know, criminal minded, I started seeing like, man, I can shoot these pictures, you know?
Right.
like, I never, nobody told me I couldn't. So I was like, you know what? I could take these pictures. And then I realized that in the back of the album, there was always an address. There's always an address and a name somehow. And I was like, shit. I mean, I'm in New York, Madison, 550 Madison's right there. That's where Sony is. I'm going to just go over there and show them my work. Like, nobody told me I couldn't. When people started seeing my pictures, they thought that my friends, my portfolio, which consisted of mostly my friends in the building and the neighborhood, I was doing like double exposures with them and smoking blunts, 40s, all kinds of, it's like what 20-year-olds do, right?
Right.
And they started writing back like, oh my, this is amazing. Who are these artists? I'm like, this is just my friends, And very early in the game, the Source magazine hired me for the first time, and they hired me and they gave me this job. This was my first assignment for the Source magazine.
House of Pain.
House of Pain, man. They
Crazy.
were blowing up at the time. I came out the gate with that one. And when I sent that to all the labels, which I was already contacting, boom, they were like, we need to hire this kid. And that's how it happened, bro.
The rest is history.
The rest is history. I'm gonna say something, man. I never done this before, with somebody, but today a lucky winner is gonna take this. I'm gonna mail this to a lucky winner today. We're gonna have a trivia question at the end of this thing. So I'm not gonna ship the frame. I'm gonna roll it. I'm gonna send you two. So the frame, it's mine. But the picture is signed, it's autographed, and this is one of 50. Okay, so I'm only printing 50 of this in the world. That's it.
So,
All right. So hang on until the end. I'm gonna have a very important question. See if you can answer. You a Jeru fan? You're gonna answer like this.
you guys better jump on it because I'm on it.
No, you can't. You're
Okay.
disqualified for this, man.
Okay.
Come on, man.
All right.
This is for your fans, man.
All right. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. This is your lucky day.
Yes.
You never know what you're gonna get tuning in, so you need to tune into every episode.
Right?
Let me ask you, before you take on a job, do you get the advanced album? Do you have to soak that in? Or do you always?
Always. I cannot shoot a rapper for his album without listening to the album. It's not gonna come out right. It's just only gonna be pictures. It's only gonna be portraits. You know what I mean? I compose album covers. That's what I do, right? If you see the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, you are seeing the music. It looks like how it sounds. It sounds like how it looks.
Absolutely.
You understand? That's why I came into the business. If you see Eminem, right? If you see Jeru Da Damaja, if you see Built In for Cuban Links, I always listen to the album before I shoot it because I said before, I am more of an album cover composer than a photographer.
Right.
Because I've been blessed to be able to interpret music into visuals. In a way, they're kind of like music videos, but in photography. You know what I mean? Like,
let me ask you, have you got an album that you wasn't feeling and you said, you know what, I can't be a part of this project?
Yeah, but if it happens, it happens. It doesn't happen that way. It's like, I'm just too busy. I can't do it. Conflict. I'm a politician too, like, in a way, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
But I think for the most part, I'm feeling it because, music, and this is something that the music industry does, right? Like the more repetitive, the more repetitions you put in a song, the more people are gonna like it. You're gonna find something.
Right.
So I never really done something I didn't like, or like hated the artist, or you know what I mean, like thought somebody was whack. I always found the essence of what the album was or is, and then interpret their music, right? I've shot everything, bro. I shot, people don't know, man, but I shot Latin music, romantic music, ballads. I just recently shot my biggest rock and roll album, and probably the biggest rock and roll album today, which is The Pretty Reckless with Taylor Momsen. Shout outs
Okay.
to that whole camp. It's called Going to Hell. Badass rock and roll chick, man, like, fucking shit up on the rock scene, bro. It's just like it's amazing. It's amazing. Like,
Right.
so I'm able to actually like, I'm a music guy, bro. I've listened to everything there is.
Right.
Except
Um,
for Post. I probably need to
Before we get into your relationship with the Gangstar Foundation and how this
yes.
beautiful album, The Sun Rises in the East, the cover came about, let me ask you one last question. Was there a project that you may could have been a part of that you weren't and you regret it for whatever reason? Maybe you were too busy. Maybe um, you wasn't, in the right place at the right time, and you could have been the art
This
director.
one, yeah, this one hurts. Um, yeah, I was gonna say I turned down something because you know it wasn't they weren't really like at that point I was doing a lot of album covers, and the drawing board came to me and they wanted me to shoot LL Cool J, you know what I mean? And to me it was like, what, LL Cool J? And then when they offered me the money that they offered me, I was just like, dude, like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't, in hindsight, maybe I should have done it, and I would have had today, I would have had a classic with LL that hurts,
Are we
you
talking
know,
about 95?
yeah, 95, 96, something like that, somewhere around there,
Mr. Smith,
95.
maybe?
Yeah, Mr. Smith, I think, yeah, it was that. I think it was like with the hair like that.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to kind of stand your grounds, man. But in hindsight, sometimes you have to like maybe work it out. And at that time, I was just like not feeling what they were offering me, and it was very low, for the artist and for my, for photographer my caliber at the time, and it just didn't work out. So it is what it is, man. Sometimes you win, you can't win them all.
Right. Absolutely. So let's
Yeah.
go back a little bit. Tell me how you linked up with the Gangstar Foundation.
I linked up with the Gangsta Foundation through the label, through EMI. I was in pocket with the A&R, um, uh, VP, or one of the top executives. His name is Dave Gossett, and Dave was responsible for the success of many groups, including Black Sheep. I was like really good friends with him. Mimi Valdez was part of the camp. You probably, if you're a journalist, you know who Mimi Valdez is.
Yep.
She was part of the camp. They introduced me to a marketing guy at EMI. So I came through the label, right? And I did like everything that was coming out of EMI at the time, man. From AZ, which I believe it was through there too. Um, all the Atlanta groups like Joy Gillian, and all the Dallas Austin camp, like all of that stuff. And I was shooting for them, man, constantly. And the Gangstar album was going through EMI, and that's how I met them. It went through them, and then through Patrick Moxie, the management, Payday, all of that. And then I got to meet the guys,
Okay.
and then when I got to meet the guys, then I went to D&D. I hang out with them. I listen to the music. I met everyone, bro. I mean, I felt, Primo and Guru like opened their doors to me, and it was like, yo, this is our guy. Like we click immediately, instantly, and then from there, I was a shot hard to earn. I think you know of big picture of Gangstar, the Gangstar Foundation. Let me see if I can find it real quick for you. The Gangstar Foundation shot the original with Guru, Premier, Jeru, Little Dap, Malachi, and Big Shug, right?
Right.
Yeah, this joint right here.
Classic.
Yeah, that joint right there.
Crazy.
That's in the back of the album,
Okay.
you
That's
know?
that's the crew.
Yeah, that was the original crew, man. I got along with all the brothers, and then I met Jeru that day. That's the day. That's the Gangstar album, Hard to Earn,
Right.
right? Photo shoot. That's where I met Jeru for the first time. You
Okay.
know, we clicked, and I was like, oh man, he's coming out, and I think they were dropping Come Clean. Right after that, when Come Clean came out, I already had the relationship with Patrick and the label, and I called Patrick, and I was like, yo, that Come Clean record is crazy. Like I love that song. I got some visuals for him. Then Patrick was like, yeah, I'm sorry, man, we already hired a photographer. I was like, no, dude. And then on the phone, I had like that 5 minute window, like a 1 minute window of like, listen, man, I'm about to shoot. I'm gonna shoot it like this, right? And then I based it on, one of his lyrics that he said, I blow spots like the World Trade Center. Mind you, this is before 9/11, so there's
Right.
no disrespect or correlation to the 9/11, you know, catastrophe and tragedy and attack to us. This is not about that. This was way before. This was like 13 years before, right? Where, it was like there was like a small van that blew up something in there, and there was not much damage, but you know, he was relating how Jeru Da Damaja is, right? He was gonna fuck shit up for everybody, right? That is in his way or whatever. So, you know, I took that, and then I was a big fan of Escape from New York, the movie, and I was like, what if we do some sort of visuals where Jeru is like the last man standing, Escape from New York type of movie, scenario, boom, 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 and I did a sketch with an artist named Hugo Bravo, and I was like, yo, listen, man, we got this idea, and then Patrick was like, hey, man, that sounds really good, right? So I don't know, you have a sketch? I was like, we got a sketch. We'll fax it to you. Yeah, that's when like faxes were faxing images now, it was 1993 or something.
Right.
So then I put this thing together, boom, and then we fax it to Patrick. Patrick shows it to Jeru, and Jeru immediately, I don't know who the lady was or who was the photographer, but he was like, yo, I want this on my album cover. Like I want Danny to shoot the album cover. So, I got the gig, and based on, the idea, based on listening to the music and coming up with the right, imagery for an album, right? I was not just offering, let me just take a picture of Jeru, let me do the picture of Jeru. No, I came with an interpretation of his music, put it on art, and then he was like, he told me, he's like, yo, I remember that. He remembers that story. He's like, he remembers that story. So, yeah, that's kind of like how it happened.
Did he have an original idea before that one, or did they not even have an idea before yours?
I don't know. I think once he saw the sketch, I, we didn't even speak about anything else. He was just like, yo, I want you to do this, because I was also rolling with a lot of artists, like, graffiti artists. I was rolling with a lot of painter. I had a crew called the Cartel Crew, which, consists of a lot of Latinos that were actually, you know, drawing, painting, sketching, bombing, freaking walls, and doing some really cool stuff. So I was able to get one of the guys that actually was able to paint realistic. Hugo Bravo specializes on like he could take your picture and just draw you, and it looks like a picture, man, but it's a painting.
Crazy.
That's how nasty he is. So, I was able to, because my photography was high contrast, the colors were saturated. It didn't really look like my pictures didn't look like regular pictures. Everybody was always taking pictures like regularly, but there's no, this right here, that's how the picture came out.
Ah,
You understand? Because I cross-processed the film, and cross-process was a process in the darkroom that you would take the negative chemicals and put it through transparency chemicals, and the contrast will come out like this already.
right.
So nothing was normal for me. Like if you see a Danny Hastings picture, back then people knew it was me. I didn't shoot anything normal. I didn't white balance anything. I didn't was trying to like look for, proper color. I was like doing blue shit, red stuff, orange, like I was just being really creative. And part of it, I think, also was because I was influenced by art, comic books, album covers from the 80s. Like I wasn't really trying to take a normal picture. I was always trying to do something different, right?
Right. Are you freezing up on me again?
Yeah, man. Every time I flip, I think that happens. So I'm gonna log out and come back.
All right, we'll be waiting on you.
All right.
If you guys got any quick questions, be sure to go ahead and send them in the comments. We got about 20 minutes left. All right, there he is.
Yeah, back in effect. I won't switch anymore because I think every time I switch, it freezes.
That's all right. Let me ask you, that sketch, was that just your first sketch, or did you had to go back and modify it? Was it just your first take and it was all good?
That was one banger right there. Boom. That was it. That was it. It was like, and I have the sketch. I have the actual original sketch somewhere there, but I don't want to flip the phone and freeze again. But yeah, that was it, man. We sketched it, and it convinced him, and then we went and shot it. And I went across the Brooklyn Bridge, right on the Brooklyn side, and I had the Twin Towers in the back too. But then Hugo started painting the picture, and then that was really my first Photoshop blend, right? And the image blends so well because my photography doesn't look like a regular. If it looked like a regular picture, it wouldn't match so well, right?
Right.
Like normal skin tones and all that stuff, it wouldn't, like, it looks like the photo was actually a painting, right?
Right.
And once we did it, it was like, boom. Let me tell you something, man. That poster was everywhere, bro. That
Hey,
poster
let
was
me tell you, this is
everywhere, man.
my most expensive one, but I bought it in '94 for $9 and had it on every wall, just totally ripped it up. Regret, regret, regret. So I had to go
Yeah,
back and get this one. But yeah, I remember it being everywhere.
yeah, man. This was the type of stuff that, and I mean, like, this is like 2 years in my career, and all of a sudden I'm walking to like Virgin Megastore and the Wiz and like all these big record stores, and you see my posters everywhere. I'm just like, oh my God, this is crazy.
I,
Like, it was
I was gonna ask, what was the reaction from your peers in the hip hop community when that album dropped and they seen that artwork? What kind of reaction